The views expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of this station.
Welcome to Insights into Northeast Michigan, a WBKB News public affairs program. Insights deals with the issues affecting those in the community as well as Northeast Michigan and the state. And now, Insights into Northeast Michigan.
Hello everyone, my name is Star Connor and welcome to another edition of Insights. Today with me I have co-facilitators Annie Hepburn and BJ Sander. So we are talking about Hopeful Journey, and I wanted to talk to y'all because this is a serious situation in our counties and surrounding areas. There's a lot of grandparents fostering grandchildren, correct?
Yes, for multiple reasons. We have a high amount of seniors in the Alpena County area, as well as we have a lot of grandparents raising grandkids. And really, there's different reasons why a grandparent would have to raise their grandchild. And most of that comes down to, as I said, different reasons, but making poor decisions throughout their lives, and therefore then the children end up ending up with their grandparents raising them. So BJ and I were talking about our program here that we help with kinship funds, and we decided that it would be great to come up with a program to help those grandmothers who are raising their grandchildren get through this journey and help them through that.
Now, BJ, you came in with some shocking numbers today about the population of how many grandparents are actually fostering their grandchildren.
In the United States, about 2.7 million grandparents raising their grandkids.
Wow, that's a big
And about
number.
one of the scary statistics part of that is at least 1/5 of that population falls below the poverty level. So, think about that. You're already at the poverty level, now you're taking on raising some kids with increased expenses.
Now, with this program, it already started back last month, but we're looking to get more grandmothers involved with this program. Just talk a little bit about the program and all the activities you plan on presenting to the grandmothers.
So with the program, I mean, usually the situation that they get their grandkids is not just a regular situation. Most of them have difficulty times in school. They have maybe post-traumatic stress syndrome. They're dealing with loss or abuse and neglect. So it's a lot for a grandparent to take on. So again, we were talking about how can we help them. So part of it is bringing people to present on different topics, such as a lawyer, a counselor, maybe somebody from the school programs that can help them through this journey. And so we will be also handing out to them this book called The Courageous Love, and this will help them on their journey as well. And we will be discussing that as a group at some of the presentations.
Yes. So this series is a year-long series. When we wrote the grant through the Community Foundation here in Alpena, the Women's Giving Circle granted us the funds to hold this project. It's a year-long series working with grandparents, again, raising their grandchildren. They get the binder, and like Annie said, we'll be working with the book Courageous Love, which has some amazing insights into the struggles that grandparents go through raising their grandkids, and the actual struggles that the kids are going through, the trauma that they're going through throughout the process of being separated from their parents and going into a different home.
Now, what are some of the issues you are finding with our grandparents in our area when it comes to them raising their grandchildren? I know I've sat in sessions before with some of the grandparents and the grandmothers, basically, because there are grandfathers and grandmothers raising their grandchildren. But some of the issues I've noticed were, sometimes their grandchildren want to do activities and they just can't get them there or something like that. Like, what are some of the issues that y'all be covering with them to help them along their journey with that and stuff like that, or different activities that their grandchildren might want to do? Or some of the other issues?
Well, that would come with our monthly presenters. So like Annie said, we've got an attorney that we'll be bringing in and helping them in those situations. I believe we've got looking at someone from Child Protective Services.
mental health.
Mental health.
You know, you were asking what are some of the situations. Some of it is financial. Some of it is just dealing with the changes in personalities of children. Some are young children and some are teenagers. And so then, you know, the loss of their parents. And some of the parents are still involved. So now they might see their mom or dad, and then now they have to go back to grandma and grandpa's house or grandma's house. And again, that's a transition back to what is normal. And so how do I help them? And then you have the grandparents that it's their child's child. So there's frustration, anger, sometimes loss of that person. So every situation is different. And so the hope for this hopeful journey is for us to give resources, an open ear, having them meet people that are on that same path or journey with them. They're not alone. And so that's what we want to be there for them and give them those resources. So when they come monthly, if they have a situation going on, that we as a group can talk about that.
Mm-hmm. And now, how many women do y'all have so far in the program, or grandparents, period?
We have 4 that are signed up for this program. Again, I think it's getting the word out, educating people that this is available to them. It's a free service because we did write the grant through the Community Foundation, and it is a support system for them. So we have slots for 20 people.
And, you know, we did have 3 people at our first meeting last month, and the meeting was supposed to last about an hour. The meeting lasted almost 2 hours. And I think that those women were probably willing to spend the rest of the afternoon with us talking about things that they needed to get off their shoulders. Yeah.
And learning that every situation is different. But in one aspect it's different, but in the next aspect it's the same. You know, because they are, most of them, because of the situation, got them unexpectedly. So those journeys are the same of how the situation happened.
You know, it seems like, Annie, and I think you might agree with me, it seems like that all the programs we're doing here at the Senior Center for the seniors in Alpena County, the message that we're trying to get out to every senior in Alpena County is you are not alone in whatever journey that you're on.
And we're here, and we want to give resources, and like I said, just have the ear to listen to them, because there's help out there. It's just how do you find it without calling and getting put on hold or being put through one message after another. When you're in a situation such as this, you don't have the time or sometimes the energy to do that. So therefore, if they're having struggles and they bring that to us or the meeting, we can talk about it together and maybe find out that answer for them or the connection that they need.
Absolutely.
And when we come back, we'll talk more about Hopeful Journey and the struggles of getting this grant for this program. Welcome back to Insights. Again, I'm your host, Star Connor, and I'm sitting here with BJ and Annie, and we were talking about Hopeful Journey. Now, I did want to know some of the struggles you guys faced when getting a grant and what all it takes to get a grant like this to, you know, come to fruition.
Well, when we think of new programs or an opportunity, we have to think of a new title for the program. We have to put down the budget and think about the process, like what is the new program going to be, what is the goal of the program, who is it going to benefit, and so all those things are guidelines for grants, all grants. And so when we were thinking about it, we kind of already had a support group, but we wanted to take a bigger step into the support group and make it better. And so we talked about a year-long series and the resources we could bring and different presenters that we could bring to the table.
Now, why do you feel that this was something that needed to be a year-long process?
I believe that most of the programs that we're bringing on through grant opportunities, we are turning into year-long series because it does take time to, once you get the grant, it does take time to get the program moving. And then once you get it moving and start getting into it, before you know it, that year is gone. And I think we've learned through our progression here at the center between Annie and myself that to us it's more beneficial to do a year-long program rather than to maybe look at a 6-month series, which we've done in the past.
And I think it also, we collaborate with those people involved, and the connections become stronger over time. You know, first couple months, it's, again, finding out where we're at, what are their goals, what are our goals, and then we finally get there. And if it was a 6-month series, it would be over, where this is the opportunity for it to keep growing, and for them, I think, to make the better connection with us and the resources that are available.
I think it's all about building relationships with the people that come through our programs, and you know, I think it takes a good year to establish that.
Now, when it comes to the grant, you know, funding and processing and sending it on to the idea on to wherever it needs to go, that could take weeks, months. Were you nervous about that, knowing that this is something needed in this area? You know, because you probably wanted to start this like right away, as soon as possible. So were you nervous about that?
So I don't know if the words is really nervous, but when you write a grant, you propose what you think the year-long series will cost, the budget, and it doesn't mean that you always get that budget. So, you know, we always wish and hope big and want the program to be big. So we didn't get the total amount, but we got enough to look at the whole program and bring in. Most of the presenters are going to be they're free, so that helps out. But we wanted to also give them tools to walk away with, and so we had to look at those tools and make sure that it fell within our budget. So I would say it's more just making sure when you're thinking of a program and a grant that you have to also be real, that if you don't get that amount, what are you going to cut out of that?
And I think when you asked about being nervous in the process of waiting to find out if we got the grant or not, I think with me, it's a little bit of anxiousness initially when we send it off. And then before you know it, we're involved in writing other grant opportunities or working on other programs, and you kind of put that in the back of your mind. And then all of a sudden, we get that letter, and it's like, yes, we got it.
So then we get all excited. And then we can start planning.
Right, and we were talking earlier about, you know how you have certain people coming in to talk to these grandmothers and grandfathers, or is it just for grandmothers, first of all? Or
well, we wrote, because it was going through the Women's Giving Circle, we designated women 55 years or older, is what we did. But, you know, that doesn't mean that a grandfather can't come in with a grandmother and sit through some of this with us. And it's, you know, it's not just grandparents raising their grandkids, it's other relatives raising their relative children also. The struggles with all of this.
Well, that's good to know for the ones watching and viewing this. But I did want to ask you, you have officers and different lawyers coming in and people like that. Now, when we talk about people coming in to help you with the program, we were talking about more people are more open to, well, excuse me, you need more people to volunteer and come in and give their time. Now, what are you looking for, like as a speaker, or what else are you looking for to come in and help these?
Well, I think we pretty much have our lineup of speakers taken care of at this point in time. But that doesn't mean that if someone out there has an idea of something that they might like to share with us, that we won't look at that.
Right. And
we're open to that.
And bring
absolutely.
in other presenters if needed. So even through the series, we have it kind of scheduled out, but if there's a struggle that comes up in our 5th meeting that somebody's really struggling with and we might need to look at another presenter, we will absolutely reach out for somebody to come in and do that next meeting.
And that could change every month based on the needs of the group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flexibility. Have to be flexible.
And which date is the meetings on every month?
The 3rd Tuesday from 1 till 2.
Okay, from 1 to 2. All right. Now I get excited because I love the organization of each thing. This isn't just all what they're getting inside of their kit, correct?
Correct. So throughout the year-long series, there will be more like a journaling piece that will be coming in, some stress relief tools for the grandparents, some activities for the grandkids, as well as the final class will actually be off-site, and it will be at Cobby Goose, and that will be a painting that the grandparents are able to do a painting for them to take home and keep. But again, that painting activity is kind of stress relief, so it's fun, and it'll be, you know, a thing that we will be able to give them.
Are y'all noticing that they feel a little stressful when they come in with
Oh
the
my
program?
goodness, yes. Yeah.
Stressful,
Yeah.
I would say emotional sometimes. It's a lot, and you know, most of them raised their children 20 years ago, which society, the world, technology, life is different. So it is a big undertaking. Not one of them, you know, I mean, they enjoy their grandkids and they enjoy life with their grandkids, but it's the life, and it's a different lifestyle. And how you raise your children and how you raise your grandchildren, by the conversations we had, is different, because your connection's different. So,
I mean, and you look at, we're talking women 55 years and older. Some of those women are still working. I'm 63, I'm still working, I've got grandkids. What would I do if I were faced with that decision? Of course, I would raise my grandkids, and then I'm still working. So that's one of the huge struggles that they go through.
So you're looking at daycare, you're looking at, you know, and also if they have some issues with emotional issues or behavioral issues, that's not always easy to find somebody to even babysit. And it's really hard in general to find babysitters or people that you trust. So society is just so much different than when they raise their kids, and how I'm raising my kids. And as BJ said, you know, they're working. Some of them are in their 50s. Some of them are in their late 70s. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
And when we return, we'll talk more about Hopeful Journey and the healing circles. Welcome back to Insights. I'm Star Connor, and again, we are here with BJ and Annie, and we are talking still about Hopeful Journey. Now, I wanted to talk to you also about the healing circles. I found that name unique. Now, where did you get that name, Healing Circles?
That's all part of the book, Courageous Love, and that's the book that we're going to be working with throughout our year-long series. So what they did was they developed what they call healing circles, and there's 3 of them. And those healing circles, throughout the course of the book, are going to help give the grandparent or the relative raising the children the tools and confidence that they need to work through this journey. So the first circle is talks about the safety, the basic needs, and the structure. So that's involving your home. So if you've got grandkids going into a grandparent's home, one of the things that they need to first look at is safety, all depending on the age of the children, because you're not used to having kids in your home. So if you've got a toddler coming in, then you need to worry about electrical outlets, steps, doors, whatever issues that come up. So to look at the safety of your home depending on the kids coming into the home.
Okay, and then part 2?
The circle 2 is more with family gatherings and fostering and getting them to be like a feeling of sense of belonging. So how do we work on that? And again, I talked a little bit about it in the earlier session about the emotional parts. How do they belong in this whole different situation, especially from some of them even have lived in the homeless shelters before or wherever. So how do they belong now in this different situation?
Circle number 3, clear rules. Again, they're coming from a home where the parent wasn't able to properly parent the child, so there were probably no clear rules. So coming into a grandparent's home, you need to establish those rules, and that healing circle number 3 helps you work through establishing the rules of the home and authority agreements. Who is the authority figure here? They may not be used to an authority figure. If their mother was an absent mother, maybe the oldest child had to be the authority figure, and that's going to change going into a grandparent's home, and how to work through that process. And one of the most important things I think in that healing circle are the non-toxic relationships. So if they were in a home where there was some mental and or physical abuse going on, those are your toxic relationships. So there's trauma that the grandparent and the child are going to have to work through to develop a non-toxic relationship with the grandparent.
Now, we have probably some grandmothers watching the show right now that are looking to come to the phone and get to you guys and get here and come to this program, this session for the year. How can they contact you? Through email? How do they contact you?
Just by contacting the Senior Center at 989-356-3585. Ask for myself, Annie Hepburn, or BJ Sander, and we will get them on the list and encourage them to stop by and pick up a book, because that will be our next session, is to kick off the Courageous Love book and working together as a group. So that class or the next meeting is December 18th at 1 p.m. here at the Senior Center.
Right, and a hopeful journey. It just sounds so positive. I just want to commend you both on, this project and getting this out here, because I feel like there are some grandmothers that are nervous to come even out. And what would you tell one of them, that are just nervous about meeting here or coming here and expressing how they're feeling or struggling with raising their grandchildren? What are some words of encouragement?
My first words would be, you are not alone.
And I would add too that if they're nervous about coming to the December 18th meeting, to contact myself or BJ beforehand. We will sit with them one-on-one to encourage them that, again, they're not alone, but we're here for them. And we will make the time for them to find out where their struggles are and encourage them to join the group, because again, there's a whole group of people that are on that same path, same journey, that need the support. And we want to help them with that.
Well, once again, I wanted to thank you guys for coming along this journey and making this journey and opening us up to the doors of not only Alpena but Northeast Michigan, and sitting here with me today on Insights.
Thank you for helping us share.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Insights.
Insights into Northeast Michigan is produced by WBKB News. If you have any comments, suggestions, or topics you would like to see on a future show, please email WBKB News. This has been a production of Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation. All rights reserved.